Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're gonna do another review, a manga review from Junji Ito. Now, as you know, I read The Luminal Zone, and I had a different expectations because I didn't know what I was get myself into when it comes to this genre. Um, and but slowly I'm becoming more of a fan of his work because I did some digging, and it seems as this guy is pretty popular. I didn't know that at all. So the Luminal Zone was new to me, new with his work, because I was looking for different kind of manga, horror manga, or stuff like that. I don't want it to go into Bleach or One Punch Man, although they are probably very good, but that was not what I was looking for, right? So I came across this Junji Ito book, and I was so interested in his work that I just say, you know what? I also buy Sensor, and so I read this a moment ago, Black Paradox. Now, when it comes to looks of the book, it's a hardcover, and I like this silver foil, and as you can see, it's just the letters are turned, and also we getting introduced to the cast of this particular book. Also, his name Junji Ito is also changed here, and also on the back of the spine with Junji Ito, Black Paradox, and Viz also here with the silver foil. I also like the back. I thought it was a sticker, but it's not. It's just printed on, which is really cool. I also like this, I don't know, drop down. Is that how you say it? And yeah, so let's dive into it and see what this is all about. So now, mind you, this is 200 pages, so I'm not going to do it page by page. And and we see this, the chapter page here, and we have a 5-page bonus story. So what is this all about? This is a group of people that wants to kill themselves. So the premise is pretty dark, and I believe that's a signature of Junji Ito's work. Dark body horror, weird, supernatural, maybe some sci-fi elements here and there, but especially the weirdness of it all. And I grow to like his artwork a lot. He has a very particular flow of storytelling that I'm, was really getting into, especially with the first chapter of this book. So they are introducing themselves. So this is Taburo, Pitan, Barachi, and Maruso. So it seems there is some suicide website, and they go into the forest to end themselves, right? But then, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name. Taburo, is that how you say it? Wants to know why people wants to kill themselves, right? So, and everyone has their different but similar reasons. So it seems that this girl here has a lot of anxiety issues, and her anxiety is so much that she see her future with a lot of struggles and problems, and that's the reason that she wants to end herself. And well, and it seems that this guy here is, has his motivations is that he's seen his doppelganger. So it seems that everybody wants to that kills themselves has some kind of a doppelganger, and that doppelganger looks back at him, full with hatred, and so if you see your doppelganger, you're gonna die. So he decides to kill themselves first before death comes in, and he thinks that the world is boring, and etc. And so with Pitan is that he is specialized in robotics at his university, and they decided to build a robot, and the robot was modeled after him. And they try it out, and we see this sound effects, like motors and gears, and but it looks so frighteningly real to him that he feels left out, because the robot was way cooler than him, and they saw it as the real him. So he decides to, disappear from the world before they reintroduce this robot to the world. And then we kind of have this woman here, Barachi, and she was looking every time she looks in the mirror. It seems that the mirror saying "die, die," and she just, her love for life is disappearing every time she looks in the mirror. And but she has also some gruesome secrets, so it seems that this is some kind of a birthmark. And so yeah, they all want to kill themselves. But then the girl here, the other one, sees a car with others in it that looks exactly like them. I said, "What? What's going on?" So she says, "Hey, did you see that? The people in the car just look like the three of you. What could that mean?" So and the other said, "What did you say?" "Oh, you were seeing things because we were talking about doubles. If what you're saying is true, then would that mean our other cells met up separately? Why would they do that?" And but this girl also seems to notice something else. So she looks in the rearview mirror, and Barachi is not there. So the seat is empty, which is weird. So they are here in the forest, and they decide to kill themselves by, suffocation or affix. I'm unsure what's the right word is, but they put some hose in the exhaust port, and then that's the method that wants to kill themselves. Pretty dark. So he says, "Hey, Marisa, come here a sec. Don't you think he's weird? Huh? Peter. Every time he moves, there's sound of motors." And so she also explains that she cannot see Barachi, in the mirror. So they did this here, and they decided to go away because they are frightened, and they say, "Hey, this is not human." And then the other one comes after them, and he says, "Hey, why are you running away? We decided to die together." And I really love the kinetic speed here. She is falling. It looks really cool. And she throws a stone at Barachi, and that explodes into thousands of pieces because she was the mirror person comes to life. And then Pitan kills this guy and stabs him in his face, but then he explodes. It's so weird, but also so cool. So she's the real one here. So she's running away, and she sees this car, and she says, "Hey, please help me, help me." And it's the other ones, probably the real ones. They want to kill themselves. And so this guy wakes up, he says, "Hey, what are you doing? Getting in the way of a suicide." So the other ones are just start to wake up, and he says, so this robot senses that, well, he sees the real one, and he's just running away, which is really weird, right? So yeah, that is the first chapter, and that first chapter really hooked me in. So I decided to end themselves also. So these are the real ones, right? And they go into this forest and says, "Hey, let's not do with the exhaust thing, but swallowing some pills." And Piton says, a place with the ocean view. What a joy to able to die quietly in a place like this. It's just, why are these people so happy to die? So note to the readers, if you have certain thoughts about, depressive and that stuff, please don't kill yourself at all. I mean, please don't do. Anyway, so this is the sound of the sea, and she wakes up, and she just checks and says, "How long are you planning to keep this up? You can't pretend you're dead. I knew it. You are the fakes. I thought you might be, so I didn't take the pills. I mean, me dying here alone, the only real person, no way." And says, "Hang on. The truth is, I didn't take them either, see? You got me doubting everything too. Me too. Your anxiety catching, it seems, Maruso." So, but then Pitan, he did it, and he's dead. But then he comes to life, and he is spazzing, and he's coughing up some weird stone. And he says, "Pitan, you're alive?" And he's wheezing, and the art looks so good. And he says, I saw a dazzling world full of light. And so they picking up the vomited uh, stone. He says, "You washed it, right? Why would it come out of his stomach?" Um, so it seems that this seems like a new material, like a gem, and she knows about gems, and she knows a guy that works in jewelry and also a famous guy. So decided not to, to die, because before they do that, they probably can get rich of this material, and so decide to kill themselves later, right? So this Barachi is looking into the stone, and she sees something weird, as you can see, like a visage coming out of the stone. So Pitan comes, and he doesn't recognize this girl because she's working in a hospital. And he says, "I'm not feeling well. I'm vomiting up strange things." So the doctor is doing some kind of exam, and he's very afraid because there's something wrong with his pylorus. I'm not sure how this works. So everybody comes together again, and they it seems that the stone is very valuable, and they say it's pretty worth something on the market. And but then Pitan says, "Well, I vomited way more. My body is not okay." So they are so they figure it out that when he went to the other side, to that beautiful place, he opened up a portal or something, and the portal has stones in it, and that comes into his stomach. And they say, "This is no mere stone, this is a soul." "What?" "I saw a spiritual figure rise up from the stone. When a person dies, the soul becomes a beautiful gem like this and joins the others in the vast spirit world." Wow. So something is happening to him. So he's going, well, his body's going crazy. And so it seems more stones pouring in the stomach. And so he explodes, all these stones coming out, right? And they see all these souls here, visages, or maybe releasing. It just looks fantastic. And they're calling the stone paradonite, right? So Barachi is giving the stone to an actor that she knows, and it comes on television, so everybody knows about it, right? And so it seems that they are, I don't know, happy because their life is now turning around because of the money that they are making. And Barachi is, saying, "Well, maybe I can buy a doctor, go to the hospital and fix my face and all that stuff." And it's just, and then they are looking for more stones. And then they found the body of Pitan, but it's not the real Pitan, it's the robot. And they take the robot with them, and and so more stuff is going on, and talking about money, and it's harder than diamond. So I forgot this guy's name. What's his name? Let me check. Maruso. So he decides to check that if it's actually harder than diamond. And so by doing that, souls are being released violently, and they are, look at this. And then something happens, the stone explodes, and then this room looks like, I don't know, a scene from Silent Hill. And they figure it out that they release the energy by hitting it hard on it. And Pitan, look at this. This looks so creepy. He says, "Hey, you want to die? Let's die together." And they're running away. And then he trips over this stone, and he falls down. And so he picks it up, and he is mesmerized with the stone. And it seems that the energy was releasing, entered the body of the robot, powering him up. It's just crazy. So this guy is still on television, right? And he says, and people praising him about, his recent work, on movies. But he says, "No, the stone did it. It gave me all it showed me the way how to be a good actor." And so he want to show them that it's harder than diamond, so he shoots at them. But by doing that, oh no, it burned the whole thing down. That day, a famous TV station melted and collapsed inward due to an enormous burst of energy. The center of the explosion was thought to be a studio. There were recordings of variety show in the studio, but given that there were no survivors, there was no one who could give an account of what happened there. Oh my God! So, and of course, other people tried that too. Some, a jewelry center. Other explosions were hinted at. Where at the city, and reports were giving made. Sorry, my English is not that good. So she goes to the doctor and he says, "Hey, can you help me?" And this doctor says, "Hey, I can make a transplant." But then other bodies coming into the hospital because of different explosions, and they say, "Hey, well, I still have the burn marks, right? And so do I. My apartment ruined." And then we see this robot still trying to kill himself. "I keep trying and I don't die. I can't die." Really handle himself and made himself at home here, huh? It's been a month and he's still moving. That's quite the energy source. It's so weird. So it decide that the police are now coming for these people because, they think it's a terrorist weapon. And then they decide to, I don't know, we need to get out of here. And so the robot comes to say, "Hey, take me with you. You're going to kill yourself, right?" But then the nurse called, what's her name again? Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. Maruso Taburo? Oh no, Maruso is the girl and Taburo is the guy with the doppelganger. So Maruso is here, and so this doctor says, "Hey, you suffer from anxiety, right? Why don't you come to my cottage? It's quite quiet place in the mountains." So she goes with them, and the other one are following her because they don't know. Well, they need her somehow, or believe they want to meet up. And he says, "What is the point of following Marusa now? I'm sure she knows where Pitan is, and Pitan is proof of her innocence." Okay, so I want to get the body of Pitan, right? And she says, so this Dr. Suga, he's the one treating your birthmark, right? What's he got to do with Marusa? I might not have a chance to fix my birthmark now, and that was my only hope for life. So we see that the art is stunning. "What a lovely cottage," she says. And then stay as long as you want. There's plenty of food, and he's just kissing her because he likes her. "Well, look at her," and he says, "Hey, let me out of here." So this robot is still in the front of the trunk, but she's still having anxiety attacks, so she goes down and she wants to look for the doctor, and then she is seeing that there's a pool and all these stones are here. So the doctor comes and he says, I really don't know how to bring it up. Yes, this is a paradonite. It happened one night. I was on duty at the hospital. So I forgot to tell you that while the other ones are, the part that he is, how do you say, so his body exploded, right? And so it seems that the girl was still driving the car to the hospital, and she left the car there, and she has a panic attack. So she left the car there at the hospital where Pitan's still dying inside. So the doctor says, I noticed the car parked out of the emergency entrance. It seems suspicious. So I looked inside. His body was lying there. His stomach was ripped open, and there was all these beautiful stones. I'd never seen anything like them. What really drew me my eye was deep in his stomach, the pylorus. Every so often, the stone would shoot out of his pylorus, and his opening, I saw it, a dazzling world. Another world. I saw another world, but not this one. So he decides to keep the body and cut out the stomach, and but then these guys are at the campfire, and Barachi is says, hey, my birthmark itchy for some reason. It's starting to throb. Ah, it's so disturbing. And so she's releasing stones from her face. And so the doctor here says, Pitan, he's alive. I saved his life. Well, his stomach. So, yeah, because it's still vomiting up those stones, and it, make him rich or something. And then somebody's calling, and this girl's still anxious and says, help me, Barachi. And she says, Dr. Sugar, cut this birthmark off me. Hurry, do it, the transplant. Something's wrong with it. Oh my God, it looks gruesome. And so she's getting in her operation, but they cut her to this bed because she is too unstable. So yeah, the doctor did this and looks good. But then in the basement, separate from Pitan's stomachs, Barachi's birthmark was cultivated in an enormous petri dish. So yeah, it still goes on. And but the gruesome thing is that they decided to, I don't know, hire a guy, and he says, hey, you need to go into the stomach and see what you find there, and I'm going to pay you handsomely, right? So he goes into this other world in this stomach, but then something's happening, and they try to get him out of here, and he's not alive anymore. He's composing body or whatever. And so the doctor didn't count for that, and he says, sacrifice is inevitable in the new ventures. But then the other ones say, hey, maybe we have the method to send something else in, like, I don't know, some kind of a not living. Well, we have a non-living entity here. So it's the robot Pitan. So he goes in there, right? And he says, let's all go together. It's really, is it really there? So then if I go through, I can die, right? So he still wants to die. So they are picking up, but then he says, hey, a dazzling world, full of light. So he goes there and he brings all these stones with the souls with them, and he's going diving night after night after night. And so we see then Barachi, and she is healed, and she says, you're really beautiful. Right. And I'm planning on inviting some VIPs and engineers to the cottage. I'd love for you to dress up and make an appearance. But why me? Oh, Barachi. Oh, doctor. And she says, say, doctor, what about Maruso? I thought you loved her. She suffers mentally. There's nothing more I can do for her. You're the only one I love, she says. And do you think I could find a person I love like that? So yeah, he's switching sides very quickly. So the doctor is. So this guy says, "Hey, I'm going away. I don't want to be here anymore." And he wants to say goodbye to this girl, Maruso. And he says, "But Tabura, something terrifying is going to happen to you." Oh no, what's going to happen? So he says, "I'm getting the hell out of here." And he's seeing his doppelganger, which is not good. And then he's lying here at this mansion that he bought, and we see this doppelganger. He's standing over him. Man, it's so good. And so Barachi, there's something I want to show you, he says. So he shows her the petri dish with the hole to the other world. And I says, look at the gate has opened in the middle of the birthmark. I asked Peter to go to the spirit world through the gate, but the other day he refused. He said, this is your gate. I should ask you, right? So then all these VIPs and engineers are coming. And then so this guy wants to make a name for himself. So say, hey, this is Pitan, this is Barachi. And they are going into the spirit world. And the other people says, wow, what is going on, right? This is all hogwash. And so she also dives into this petri dish of her own scar. But then she comes out much later because it takes a very long time. So she explodes. And it's It's a robot. So yeah, they they decide to make a robot of her because she says, "Hey, I'm not going into the spirit world, right?" Um, but then the doctor insists to, what if you do it? And she says, "You can't be serious." It's going crazy. So yeah, so it goes on, and it loses a little bit of steam here. But then the doctor goes to this girl and he's kissing her, and he says, "Barachi, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's kerosene. You made a fool out of me. Well, I'm done. I'll burn this up. You waiting her in the secret all this time." But then the doctor's getting desperate, so he throws her into the spirit world, into the other world, and he also thinks, "Hey, if there is two people with gates to the other world, maybe the other two has gates in them as well." And says, "Yeah, there it is. So there's some kind of a tumor here," and they try to cut it out because, hey, this is the another gate to paradise. And so they send some kind of a probe, and they see something through the lens, and we see Barachi, and she's coming out of this gate like a bat from hell, like a vampire, like a demon, right? And she says, "Here, this is for you. Congratulations. You're spirit flyer number 2." All right. So it goes on, and we see the other guy. So the doctor's visiting the other guy, and she says he is so afraid of these doppelganger that he is hiding himself, and he starts to fear his own shadow, right? And then so the doctor goes in, and he says, "A white shadow," which is completely weird. And out of the white shadow comes the other guy, steps into the real world, and then the white shadow disappears. And he says, "Would you come back to my cottage? Your friends are waiting for you there." So there's some kind of a transformation, right? And they did also a operation on her, and she says, "I feel very good. My anxiety is gone." And so she says, "Hey, I know you have put my tumor into on it's not on steroids," but she says, "I wouldn't happen to be that you're cultivating the tumor in my tumor in the basement." What? Did someone tell her? No, not me. Not me. That's top secret. So she says, "Hey, you want me to go to paradise? You're not afraid? Strange, isn't it? I'm not afraid at all. You old me. Why was I so frightened?" So he says, "Hey, why did you dive into?" So everybody's diving into this world, but then something happened. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you everything, but it seems that the world, so the government start to how do you say, stop. What's the word I'm trying to say? Oh yeah, so it seems that this girl has a premonition of what's to come. Humanity will progress with leaps and bounds thanks to the future paradise, energy, and revolution. But in that shadow, I see people disappearing from one after the other in the world. Disappear. So it seems that the souls or the stones are the souls of the people. So people are harvesting their own souls for unlimited energy and riches. Right? But I'm not going to show you really the ending, although we are really at the ending. So we also see what happened to the doctor. It doesn't end well for him, but these people are transformed somehow now. They are different. And I must say, the ending, I can show you. It says, "Let's get going for the future of humanity," right? So they know that the future of humanity is doomed, and they gonna help it further along. And that's the ending. I think the ending is a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't feel, that spectacular. But, since all these people that wanted to die, are now living and being transformed into something else. And they see, hey, let's drive humanity to their doom, right? So they are probably the catalyst, or, helping humanity to die a little bit quicker. I'm not sure how I interpreted that, but yeah, overall, I really liked it.